What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. This is FPV. Hi. We just got back from, I mean, not just, but a little bit ago we got back from Castle Crash. But tonight is a giveaway stream night. So we're, oh, and I knocked this out of focus. Hold on. Front focus, back focus, somewhere in between. Okay, cool. Yeah, tonight's a giveaway stream, so we're not going to dive super deep into Castle Crash. What you were just watching is the 2S swoop. I got it back together before Castle Crash. And it was on the Sub 250, the company, not the person on Instagram. 803, 19,000 kV motors with the Gemfan 1610s. It's pretty good. I gotta fly it more and compare it more to the other motor options. I think I still like I like the T-Motor 1002 19,000s better, but I only did 2 batteries on this. So yeah, more testing to follow. What's happening, friends? I've missed you all. It's been 5 days? Titan was first in the chat. Andrew Taylor, Doubles FPV, Spaceman Spiff, Tim and Steady Eddie, Cloudhopper, Striker, LOL the Kids, and Tommy B FPV Doubles, Scotty Scott, Douglas 6, Rock Crawler, Wilkening, Demo FPV Denzel, the Terrible Siskel is here. Hey Siskel, Bob Noxious has your purple and black Tiny Whoop custom FPV container filled with Tiny Whoops. He's gonna mail it to you. Striker, Cloudhopper, 661, Tiny Shark, Denzel the Terrible, Brad Mondin, Dave S. Kevin Sumner is here. Drones in. Kevin James. Bob Noxious is in the house as well. The whole crew. Did you guys all rush home to watch this? That's nice of you.
What's up, Danzilla?
CBCBR.
Kevin and Siskel.
George Ramstead.
Hi.
I think I got everybody. If I didn't get you, that sucks. I'll get you next time, I promise.
We're too damn sleepy.
Yeah, Eva the Dive of Deathmaster. You've got footage of it, obviously. But hopefully there's some 3PV or whatever line of sight footage of it. Because
I got tagged on Instagram. I can.
It was pretty cool.
Hold that up to the camera, maybe.
What's the whose thing is it on? I'll put a link in the Chad. So yeah, Castle Crash was awesome. Again, we're not going to dive super deep into it. Whoop Wednesday is going to be like a Castle Crash recap because most of the flying that I did was with Tiny Whoop. So we'll play a ton of Tiny Whoop flight footage, and I'll just kind of talk you through the whole thing. But it was awesome, super sandy, super natty. But it was awesome. Dronesen says Castle Crack, indeed. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. You can put an @ in front of it, but you don't have to. You can do it with each other. If you type doubles FPV and you spell it right and you don't put a space in between doubles and FPV because his name doesn't have a space there, for him, his name will light up in orange. You'll get his attention and you can talk to him. So do that. Or if you want to support me, because it's hard to do FPV full-time, go over to CiottiFPV.com, and there's a ton of ways that you can help me out. The one that helps me the most and gets you in on a whole bunch of giveaways tonight is Patreon. The $5 tier will enter you to win Tiny Whoop and Toothpick stuff in about an hour. The $10 a month tier will enter you to win 3-inch microbrushless and or Cinewhoop parts, $20 a month, 5-inch parts. And then if you fly all that stuff and you have an extra $1 a day, you can do the $30 a month tier. It'll enter you to win all 3 of those things every first Monday of every month. The 4th giveaway we're going to do is Super Chat based. You don't have to join Patreon. You just, buy a ticket, away you go. Or 2 tickets, or 3, or however the hell many you want. Etsy has some fun stuff that you can buy. There's a bunch of new stuff up on Etsy. And there's going to be a whole bunch more stuff added this week. Fiverr, if you want to work one-on-one with me, we can get you flying better, building better, tuning better. Teespring for some fun shirts. And then a whole bunch of affiliate links. If you're ordering something on the internet at this point and you're not using an affiliate link, it's your fault that your favorite person closed down their YouTube channel. It's not your fault. But yeah, look, so affiliate links don't hurt you in any way. You could still use coupon codes. You still get free shipping. It doesn't affect you at all other than to support the people that make the content that you can watch here on YouTube for free. So do it. Change your bookmarks to affiliate links. If you don't use bookmarks like me and you just, when you go to Amazon, you type AMA, off on the right, there's a little X that you can click, usually in most browsers, that says like remove this suggestion. So remove your other Amazon suggestions and then come in here and just click this Amazon link a bunch of times, and look at that. Now your browser will suggest Amazon every single time you type AMA.
I'll suggest you the nut grabber.
What do you think about that? Yes, you dirty bastards, you. Doubles FPV tagged me, said, "What's up, CiottiFPV and Gangly Gang?" Steady Eddie said, "Not sure I can stay up for the live stream. Silly work thing in the morning, but I'll try. Always a pleasure to hang out with CiottiFPV." Thank you, dude. It was great. Steady Eddie, I think we maybe met at Rampage. Not totally sure. I feel like I've met you before. But yeah, I met a bunch of people that I actually... It's weird. Like, seeing you guys in chat gives me this weird feeling that I've, like, met you sometimes. And so there's a bunch of people I'm like, we've met before, right? And like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. So, yeah. Oh, God, dog. What are you doing? Be better, doggy. Be better.
That's fine.
So yeah, met tons of people I hadn't met before and got to hang out, talk to so many people. It was rad. Say again?
I was like, what is my hair doing?
Tommy B FPV says, just got home from Castle Crash. It was incredible. You ripped the Whoop House. Thank you, dude. Yeah, the Whoop House was awesome. Josh did a great job setting that up, and we had a blast. It was super fun. We'll talk all about that on Whoop Wednesday this week, for sure. Danzel the Terrible says, "Hail, you cool people. How do you see CiottiFPV? Tired from the weekend? Yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm also very hungry right now for some reason. But yeah, it was exhausting, but very, very fun. I mean, you know, any FPV event that's like 2 or 3 days, you're going to be destroyed when you leave." Tommy BFPV says, Ciotti said the Nats won. Yeah, there was a point Sunday where I was just like, I'm going back to the hotel. I can't handle these goddamn gnats. But I stuck with it. When the sun goes down, the gnats go away, thank God. And so, yeah, you just have to, like, just stand strong during the while the sun's up and try not to let the gnats win.
They go straight for your eyeballs.
Oh my God,
it's the worst.
They crawl into your eyeballs and they crawl into your ear holes. Like, I don't love gnats flying around my head, but I hate them flying into my actual eyes and ears. So it got really annoying after a while. But I don't know, maybe it had rained a bunch or something like that. Everybody was saying like it was not like that last year, so maybe they were just there for me. You never know.
They were there, but they weren't that much there.
Really?
Yeah, like.
I mean, it is just like in the woods where the gnats live.
I don't remember them from last year, really. I will this year.
Yeah. Striker says, did a lot of testing today with the 1404.5 4500 kV. Tried on 3.5 inch with 90% motor limit. Tried with action cam, no action cam. Liked the 3-inch props a good bit, but I don't know what I like more. Good motor size overall, though. Yeah, between like 1404, 1405, 1504, 1604. Those are all really, really, really good motor sizes for 3-inch to 3.5 inch props. Which one you choose really depends on the pitch of the propeller. There are 3.5 inch props that are low enough pitch and light enough weight that you can put them on a 14 all the way down to a 1404. There are 3-inch props that are heavy and pitchy enough that you have to run them all the way up to like 1604, even 1804. I flew the Grinderino a bit, which is 1804 3500 kV motors on 4S, which like logically is not enough for a 3-inch propeller, but the T-Motor 3140 propellers, 40 is a lot of pitch, and it's just a big nasty propeller, and that thing flies great on that. So like sometimes you can sort of go outside of the windows of like, you know, prop size, pitch, motor size, KV, and it still sort of works. Also, I don't know, the X-Nova motors are just magical, so maybe they're
guidelines, not hard rules.
Actually, yeah, totally. Also flew the Quadmula Siren a little bit. It flew fine here. I drove there, tried to fly it on Saturday. One of the motors wouldn't come on. It was just twitching to death. Gave up, plugged it in on Sunday, totally fine. And then the only motor twitching was from sand, which maybe when I put it down to fly it on Saturday, it got sand in the motor. I don't think it did because I didn't like slam it down. So that was very weird, but that's FPV. And yeah, that rig is on discontinued Mamba Toka 1505 3800s on GemFan 3052 props, and it blasts. Eva actually flew a battery.
It's really
and
fun.
Yeah, it is overpowered.
Yeah.
But
I got it stuck in a tree, but we got it back.
We did. We poked it, laddered,
and really stuck.
Poked it. It was tangled as shit. But what's funny is none of those shits were wrapped around the motors. I don't know. It was like I think what it did is it spun the branch and turned the branch into like a thick rope, basically. But yeah, we got it down. It was all good. Cloudhopper says, finished my 36,000 kV 802 rewinds. Spectre 10 amp AIO wouldn't behave right. Got frustrated and put the 12 amp Mobula 7 X12 board in. 36,000 kV 802s in a 75 millimeters, insanely fun. Very cool. That sucks about the Spectre. Whatever. Get FPV HGLRC Whoop AIO that's got 10 amp FETs that somebody said They have 7 of running well. And then I was like, okay, and I put power to it, and it just twitched a motor for life. But Get FPV swapped it out, and the replacement might be upstairs already. We'll give it another shot. Yeah, the search for a semi-lightweight, over 5 amp, VTX built-in, ELRS, AIO possibly continues, because now I'm starting to hear people complaining about the Spectre 10 amp AIOs. So I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, FPV.
Yeah. Steady Eddie says, hello, CiottiFPV and Eva the Dive of Death Master. George Romstead with a $2 super chat. He says, noob here. Thank you, dude. Thank you for the support. It's because of support like that I can do this full time and do as good of a job of it that I do. Thank you, dude. Very cool of you. And yeah, welcome. Hell yeah. Kevin Sumner says, I'm still driving. 2 hours and 45 minutes to go. Long stream tonight to keep me company. Probably not. But I'll keep the next hour and 40 minutes of you company, my friend. Drive safe, brother. Striker says, know of any events in Florida? Weirdly, no. There's tons of FPV pilots in Florida, but... Well, I mean, I'm sure, like, Rotor Riot has, like, open door events or whatever. Whether you are anti-Rotor Riot at this point or not, due to their parent company putting out blatant ads with talking about, yeah, using drones that look exactly like what we fly as killing machines. I don't know, but if there is going to be an event in Florida, it's probably going to be run by Rotor Riot. Although maybe not. Maybe Fly Tribe will put on an event at some point because they're down there too. I'm
not going to say it on your stream, but you know what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So yeah, those are going to be the 2 groups that probably put on a Florida event. Brad Bonded says currently at 650 grams on Bandolero 5-inch. That's a heavy frame. That's not bad that you got to 650. I could drop basically 40 to 50 grams going to the glide. Thoughts, or should I just get accustomed to this weight? It's a super personal preference. 40 to 50 grams is very noticeable. More weight, more off-throttle throw, worse sort of accuracy. The glide frame versus the Bandolero in terms of durability. Hold on, it's been forever. I think it's the that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work either. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, BQE. Yeah, from what I remember, the Bandolero is a kind of like a basher-ish frame. So this frame at 650 will almost certainly be more durable than the Glide. In my opinion, at 600 grams, the Glide is durable enough. The arms break when they should break to hopefully save your motors. This is half decent motor protection up here. I would love it if there was another one over here. Like, if you come down on your side, you've got pretty much no motor protection here with this frame. Removable arms, great.
I may have something coming that helps alleviate that.
Not on this frame, though.
On any frame.
Oh, really? You're doing it as a extra piece?
Yeah.
Cool.
I've got some carbon fiber nylon 3D printer filaments, and I want to design some skids that also have the devil horn motor protection.
Awesome. Very cool.
So I'll make like a universal set that just like kind of looks ugly, like hanging under, but does the job.
Right.
Well, hopefully it does the job. And then like for at least a couple frames, I'll do ones that kind of like encase the arm a little bit, so it looks nicer.
Awesome. Very cool. So yeah, it's personal preference, man. I mean, if you've already got the Bandolero built, I would say like fly the shit out of it, right? Like get used to, at the very least, get used to the weight that it's at.
Oh my god, I just smacked myself in the face. This toy was so gross. Oh.
Yeah, it's saturated. So yeah, you've got it built. It sounds like, so I would fly it a bunch. Totally get used to that weight. And then if curiosity gets the better of you, get the Glide, swap it over, and then you'll have a good sort of head-to-head, so you can actually figure out which one you like. There's people that like really heavy builds. So yeah, the Bandolero might be the perfect frame for you. You got to put a whole bunch of batteries through these setups to really get used to them, though. So it sounds like. Actually, it doesn't. I'm making that up. Maybe you've had the Bandolero built for a while. Yeah. Here's what I'll say. Pay attention to how much momentum that it has when you're off throttle, throwing it up over trees, for example, right? Pay attention to that and just start thinking like, what if it had less? And then also pay attention to when you change directions and think to yourself, would it be better if it changed directions quicker? When you miss a gap, but you like make a correction before you miss the gap, a lighter setup might have not missed that gap. Like when you're watching your footage back, like if there's a direction change at the last second and you just barely hit, that's a situation where it's like, okay, something lighter might have gotten through there.
Is that 650 grams with battery and...
I'm assuming, right?
No GoPro maybe? Because how heavy is that frame?
142, yeah. So that's all.
Okay.
That's all up.
So that's with battery, but made in
So yeah, you'll
cam.
save.
Or a light action cam.
Right, light action cam would be my guess. What was a DJI Action maybe or a Session 5? Wait, 166.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Extra TPU. TPU
okay.
on here. Got it. Yeah. There you go. That's how you'll figure it out. Bob Doctor says, give a shout out to the volunteers for me. Oh my god, yeah. The volunteers just absolutely killed it. Did an awesome job getting everything set up. It was super well organized.
It's Castle Crash.
Yeah,
it's Castle
that's
Crash.
True. For a loose event based around fun, it was incredibly well organized.
I've been all 3 years. This one, it improves every year. This year, for the Dive of Death, it's the safest it's been, but there's still some work to do. But they're always improving it. It's such a fun event.
It is very, very
It's
fun.
very relaxed. It's not stressful. Yeah. It's a good time.
Volunteers, thank you, guys. I'm not even going to try to like mention names because I will absolutely forget people. But yeah, everybody that had anything to do with setting Castle Crash up, tearing it down, running the flight lines, all the things, thank you all. It was just a blast. Kevin Sumner says, no rain at the castle in 2 weeks. Nat's looking for water. Oh, it was worse because
that's why.
Because there was no rain. That's super weird. Tiny Shark YouTube just did the thing. Hold on. Tiny Shark FPV says, thoughts on carbon fiber frames on whoops. I see a lot of people using the fractal frames. What are the pros and cons of using it? Is it worth it? Carbon fiber frames on tiny whoops fix a problem that doesn't exist. Carbon fiber frames on bigger quads make a lot of sense. Bigger quads, the motors spin slower. That makes vibrations happen lower. For you guys, it's this way. Lower in the frequency range. And the lower the vibrations, the harder they are to filter out, basically. With tiny whoops, all the RPMs are through the roof. So the filtering is pretty easy. Like, this is why we don't really run into many tuning issues with tiny whoops that aren't mechanical issues, that aren't like a drastically banged up propeller, motor shaft, or just a wire in between the AIO and the frame, hard mounting it, right?
Or just PIDs. Like, the filters are generally... any filters work.
Right. We like never talk about filter tuning with tiny whoops, right? Opposite end of the spectrum, lifters, all they talk about are is filters. It's huge. It's everything. It's weird
because lifters, at least in my sample size of fun experience, the PIDs are not in like the same place, like ratios wise between the ones, but it's also like tiny whoops. It's like you crank PIDs to like 2.0 and it's great. Cine lifters, it's kind of also you crank them to 2.0 just to get them flying, responsively. But yeah, filters on lifters, it's just you're dealing with frequencies that are well within the range of like just getting close to flight movements. So yeah, thank God for RPM crossfade. 8 motors means double the filters, which means way more filter delay. So
what's super funny is like in respect to cranking the PIDs up, that's the in opposite ends of the spectrum, we're doing it for the same reasons. It's because the motor is underpowered. The motor prop voltage combo does not produce good enough response time to not run the PIDs really high. In Cinewhoops nowadays, now that we've got like 36,000, 40,000 kV motors, it's not so much the case anymore. Those motors have enough grunt. The motor bell, the props are now light enough where on the 40,000 kV motors, you're not going to push the PIDs much, if at all, and the flight performance is fantastic. So yeah, the other the other massive problem with Cinewhoops is that the smaller the propeller gets, the less efficient it is, and so efficiency is a really big deal. Carbon fiber is not aerodynamic. It is a flat shit blocking the wind, right? You look at like an actual molded plastic frame and they take anything that's in the thrust path, they make it like this, not like this. This is the worst thing possible for aero. This is, opposite end. And so there are a lot of inherent problems with the carbon fiber frames. You mentioned fractal frames. In addition to those problems, the worst thing about the fractal frames is the camera mount. It does not positively locate the camera from a yaw perspective, so the camera can be yawing left or the camera can be yawing right. So when you're flying forward, it looks like you're crabbing, which is a great way to just crash into everything. It also doesn't really locate the camera from a roll perspective. The camera can sit like this, and again, you level the horizon and the damn thing is walking sideways. It's impossible to fly accurately like that. So what I found with the fractal frames is that I flew bad. Like, I crashed way more. Once I moved the RC chase rigs over to the super simple little batwing mount, everything got better. Power got better, runtime got better, durability got way better. That's another problem with carbon fiber frames. We've got really tiny little motor shafts. So if you want to destroy your motor shaft quick, mount it to carbon, because carbon doesn't give. So you've hard mounted the motor, and now every single time you put sideways force into that, the motor shaft has to deal with all of that. On a plastic frame, when that happens, the motor moves. You can literally see the motor giving. And so by the motor moving a little bit, it's going to absorb the energy over a longer time period, versus when it's mounted to carbon, it's like it's a sharp hit every single time. I learned that back in the Tiny Lifter days. The Cockroach 75 frame has a carbon fiber brace, and it was just brutal on motors. Those rigs were heavy, and the carbon fiber brace, it was just, I was destroying motor shafts on first batteries.
Did it fly well with that? Because with the Tiny Lifter, I feel like that would actually...
It needed it, actually.
Yeah.
I did a couple Tiny Lifter setups on plastic frames, and because it's so heavy, because back then 2S was brand new.
Like, the camera is the same weight as the drone, so
right.
I feel like just when you throttle up, the camera's going to move later than the drone is.
Right. Yeah, and it's nice and high. It is unbelievable that it flies at all. But yeah, so like on like a cinema camera platform, which is basically what the Tiny Lifter is, right? Like the Insta360 Go 2 in the Cinewhoop world is a cinema camera. It's like heavy as hell, but it's really good quality, right?
Let's get one of those.
The carbon fiber frame can make sense, but for everything else, and not to pick on the fractal frames, but you asked about them. They don't really have any setups to kind of to carry an Insta360 camera. So yeah, in my experience and many others, it just creates a whole bunch of problems that don't exist with plastic frames. So yeah, doesn't really make a lot of sense. I know there are a lot of people that follow that crowd, and they've got like their little cult or whatever that run them, and yeah, they fly, but in no way do they just don't do anything better than a plastic frames build.
I think Josh likes them for like building diving. whoops. For some
That's
reason.
weird. Yeah, I've yet to figure out
this was
anything they do better. And I spent tons of I've flown hundreds of batteries
long
on
ago,
them.
so opinions might have changed. But
Right.
I remember at one point he was like talking about it, and was at the time he was going out and doing a bunch of dives with them.
Right. Interesting.
That's what
Yeah.
he was flying at the time, so I don't know.
They're they seem like a really good idea, but for tiny whoops, they are not. I've used most of the carbon fiber frames that are out there, and in every case, they've added weight, decreased efficiency, and just fixed problems that kind of don't exist. But it's interesting, right? Like you look at that and you're like, oh yeah, that I fly carbon fiber frames on all my other stuff. It must be better. And like, but yeah, no. If you actually look at it and you actually test this stuff head to head, yeah, it's not a good idea. So stay away from them if you want a rig that flies good. 1B67 says, what's your favorite 3.5-inch frame? I guess the Grinderino, maybe? The Quadmula Siren F35 is probably also great. But don't build a 3.5-inch rig. Build a 3-inch rig. Unless you're carrying something that's like 20 or 30 grams. 3.5-inch rigs should be like 300 to 350 grams. Typically, your build is only going to weigh that much if you're carrying like a 20 or 30 gram camera. Usually, if you're doing an internal Walksnail 03, whatever setup, you're going to be sub 300 grams. And sub 300 grams, 3 inches is the way to go. Especially if you want like that 5-inch flight experience. If you want more of like a toothpick, more of like a long-range kind of thing, sure, 3.5-inch makes a lot of sense. Or if the top of your priorities is just power, 3.5-inch props will absolutely make more power. More power and more efficiency at the same time. But so if you just want power, 3.5-inch. If you want flight characteristics, I was about to say better prop selection, but not necessarily. Basically, flight characteristics. If you want something that flies closer to what a 5-inch rig flies like, it's a 3-inch prop setup or that.
I saw, where was it? Dave S said bug zapper rackets, do some work on them gnats.
Oh, nice.
Should have like taped one to a drone and just
right. JustMo says, for your motor testing, did you test any 1804 motors? Oh, hell no. I do not have any kind of a setup that would test motors that big. My motor testing is tiny whoop only. Basically, it has to be small enough that I can hold the damn thing. Holding an 1804 motor is a great way of going to the hospital. They make big power. So yeah, I will not test anything other than tiny whoops in terms of motors. But luckily, Chris Rosser has, and Micromotor Test Lab also has. Ethan, you're gonna have to dig on Facebook though for some of his old testing from a couple of years ago. I don't know if Rosser tested 1804s. Let me take a quick look. Hold on. I'm pretty sure he didn't go all the way up to 1804. So, right. Let's see here. So, yeah, motors for ultralight Cinewhoop. So he did this round of testing, and then he did these. I think. So yeah, no, these are all 1404s, and then this. Oh no, these big motors. Yeah, I get. Whoa, wait, actually, hold on. That might be it. That was a 2004. All right, let's see. Where's one of his awesome little graphs? 1804. There you go. So.
Ooh, an X-Novus.
This is the video for you, my friend.
Wait.
This is going to take you to a specific timestamp,
Those are all
but
different sizes.
just ignore that and go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Wow, he's tested a bunch of
Look at that difference
1804s. Flyfish, T-Motor, X-Nova.
Look at the difference between the X-Novas and the others.
Yep.
Yeah.
X-Nova motors are magic. Unfortunately, he only tested the 3100 kVs. The 3500 kVs are absolutely what you want for 4S. So yeah, take some of this testing with a little bit of a grain of salt because this is definitely too low of a KV. But what's wild is the T-Motor Pacer 1804 at 3400 kV got outperformed by the X-Nova at 3100. That's like, that should not be. This is a response time test. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a thrust test somewhere here. Response efficiency. Here we go. Thrust to, well, no, we don't want ratio. We just want, yeah, so max thrust. Oh, see, this is on 5-inch props. That doesn't really mean much. Here we go. T90 on, oh, he's doing it on 6S. Well, I mean,
it's still comparable.
Yeah. So where are the 1804? So there's the T-Motor down on the bottom. Oh, but that's a 2400 kV. What is happening with the numbers? So that says it's 2400. On the other screen it says it's, hold on. Oh, okay. No, I guess I just, hold on. Where was that? I swear to God it said, there it is. Okay, I guess that's a typo then. Unless, oh wow, no, he had him in, he tested 4S as well. 3.5-inch 4S. Oh, okay. So he tested a bunch of different ones. That's cool. We good. Okay. Watch that video. Pay attention to the voltage, the KV, and you'll learn some stuff. Where were we?
3.5-inch frame.
There it is. Striker says, any F1 fans in here watched the GP yesterday? Absolutely incredible work from Leclerc and Ferrari. Brad Monden says, crashed in a bando. Motors were all grindy, gritty. Turned it by hand until I spun again, but now throttle slowly to max once I touch the throttle. Did I F them up? Maybe right now they're messed up, but all you got to do is pull the bells off, clean them out really good. Get a toothbrush and some Fun Tack, that blue tack shit. You push the blue tack in there and it's going to get a lot of the grit out.
If you have like metal shavings, definitely that. If it's just sand, you can just run them underwater and then...
Yeah, toothbrush first. Yeah. Try to do it without water because the water can get into the bearings.
Yeah, that's true.
So toothbrush first. That's the easiest thing to do. If you don't have one of these, you need to have one of these. Get your 5X loop after you're done toothbrushing it. Look really closely in there. If you still see shit, that's when you're gonna get the Fun Tack up in there. Really push it in. You can get it. It'll squeeze in between the stator.
It'll slowly to max once I touch the throttle.
Bells. See, that's a weird problem to have, but. It sounds like it wasn't doing that before, so obviously that crash did something. So, I mean, you either bent up or broke a motor shaft or bell or whatever.
Check your frame, too, for cracks, because it could just be, like oscillation feedback loop, and it's... I don't know. I'm too tired to be smart right now.
You probably need to clean them anyway, so pop the bells off, clean them out. If it's a C-clip motor... you can remove the C-clips inside of a little clear plastic bag to make sure they don't fire across the room into Never Never Land.
What is this?
Discharger. 1S discharger, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, clean them out. Toothbrush, Fun Tack, and then I would put them back together. You don't have to put the C-clip back on, right? Just drop the bell back on there and spin the bell. And if it's still gritty at all, you can try water. And, yeah, you'll be able to get them clean. You're also going to have to get the Fun Tack into the bell. There's going to be shit stuck to the magnets or at least in between the magnets and whatnot. You want to get all that stuff out. So you're going to clean the stator and the bell. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Like the motor shaft is there and the bell's here. And so like you're trying to jam it. That's why the Fun Tack is good.
If you do use water, like stick your quad like on a fan so you just get airflow so it dries faster. And then
for 24 hours, don't chicken out after 4 hours and be like, it's fine. It won't be. No.
I mean,
let us know how it goes.
It probably will be, but don't risk it.
Yeah.
Don't risk it. Not worth it.
Striker says all up weight is 270-ish, running the HQ 3x2x3s. That's a really low pitch prop. Feels a little underpowered on 1404.5, 4500. Any props you recommend to try? Running also the HQ 3.5x2.5x3. There aren't many 3-inch and or 3.5-inch props, So my real recommendation is actually just to buy them all. Next time you do an order, buy all of the 3-inch, 3.5-inch props that shop has. You'll spend like $20 whole. Props are the thing that makes the most difference in flight characteristics. And so having a bunch of different manufacturers and pitches and sizes is really, really, really nice, and it's going to really help you dial stuff in. So yeah, I don't know what is currently available. It changes all over the place, and so yeah, next order you do, get a whole bunch, try them. What I can tell you though is that 3x2x3 is very flat. That is like a toothpick propeller. So they're going to be weak. And they're not going to make much thrust. You want to be 3x3, 3x4 up there for good power, kind of 3-inch rig. On a 3.5, those are the 3.5 by 2.5s. They have the benefit of the fact that it's a 3.5-inch prop, and it's a little bit more pitchy. So obviously that's going to make way more power. But 2.5 on that 3.5 is even on the lower end. There are some 3.5 by like 3.5s and whatnot that'll give you more. So yeah, but my main recommendation is every time you do an order, just blast through their prop section, and every 3-inch and 3.5-inch prop that they sell that you don't have, get at least one bag. It's $3-4 a bag.
Get two.
There aren't going to be many in stock. And away you go. Yeah, that's my real recommendation to get to. I just know Striker's on a budget. Just Mo says, can you give a lesson on props? Like, with WDF do the numbers mean I need pitchy 3-inch props? Super simple, Just Mo. Three numbers. First number is the diameter. Second number is the pitch. Easiest thing to think about the pitch, it's how much angle of attack the blade has. It's not actually what it is, but for all intents and purposes, not intensive porpoises, not intensive purposes, intents and purposes. That's basically what it is.
Intensive purposes.
More angle of attack, more thrust. Typically also more strength. As the blade does this more and more, the hub has to get thicker, and that makes the propeller a lot stronger. Also, when we crash, most of the time it's putting force in this direction. So if the blade is like this, it's going to be really strong. If it's flat, it's going to be very weak, right? And then the third number is how many blades it has. Super straightforward. Diameter, pitch, number of blades. The more blades, the more power, the more weight, though, too. Keep that in mind.
Product names don't always mean...
Oh, God, yeah.
If the product name has the numbers, that doesn't necessarily mean those numbers are accurate. But
yep. Also, different manufacturers.
Within the same brand. Within the same brand, if they are using similar numbering systems, like between their prop lines, like they'll probably be comparable. I know GemFan, their older props, they're like the 51433s and the OG 51466s. That was just a SKU number. It wasn't some of them lined up to what they actually were, but it was not a spec. It was but they're fixing that, or have fixed that, and all their stuff is accurate now. So
also pitches between brands aren't necessarily right. So like an HQ 2.5 pitch versus a GemFan 2.5 pitch, you might get more power from one or the other. You're not crazy. It's just that pitch is really hard to calculate. What pitch actually is it's how far the propeller will travel through a medium with one rotation. So more angle of attack, it'll go farther. It makes more thrust, right? More thrust will make the pitch go farther. And
think about if you're screwing it into sand, basically, how far deep into the sand it would dig.
Yep. That's a cool analogy. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. 3 numbers. Sometimes companies that will forego the third number because you look at it and you see how many blades it has. So if there's a prop that's 5140, 51 is 5.1, 40 or 30 or whatever is the pitch, 3.0, 4.0, whatever it may be. So yeah, first 2 numbers and the middle or last 2 numbers are really the ones that matter once you've seen a picture of the damn thing. And yeah, first two numbers are the diameter. That's locked, right? You got a 3-inch frame, you're running a 3-inch prop. That's it. The pitch numbers, though, that's where things get super interesting. But basically, the higher the number, the more power, but also the heavier the propeller. So you're going to get more power, but worse response time. One of the things that's really cool about the low pitch props is they tend to be really lightweight, and they'll give you great response time. That gives you great prop wash handling, flight characteristics. It feels really good because the quad is more more like on edge, a little bit more reactive. So there's a lot that kind of goes into that, but this is another reason that I recommend that you guys buy a whole bunch of different propellers, because when you run these different propellers, you will start to feel and notice and hear even these differences, and your ability to like look at a new prop that comes out and go, yep, that's the one for me, or nope, that one's not going to work, will become a lot better.
I really like low pitch props combined with nice high kV motors.
Eva flies a lot of 5-inch stuff, and that works in the 5-inch world. In micro worlds,
I don't fly micros.
It's tough. Specifically because of toothpicks. There is a whole line of props out for toothpicks that are super lightweight, super fragile, super low pitch, and you put those props on like a quad Siren, 250, 300 gram build, and they're gonna suck. So careful with that.
Too flimsy, they'll just bend.
Yep. And they'll even bend on power. Like you can like a toothpick prop on like a big power motor, it'll flatten out. And that's just a nightmare.
I found
You'll
that
hear
with
it.
5-inch props. The Gemfan F4s or one of those? Yeah.
Yep, the F3s and the F4s.
Yeah, on a lighter 5-inch and less powerful motors, they're amazing. On my 800 gram Apexes with 22.7 2000 kV, I forget exactly what it is.
Such a big motor.
They just scream at you when you get to past 80% throttle, and they don't really vibrate, which is nice, but they do not sound good, and they don't really make a lot of power after 90% throttle.
Yep. You'll hear it. If you have that issue, it'll be very obvious.
It's obvious, yeah. It's
There you go, Just Mo. Great question, dude. Thank you. Teleport FPV says, are there skids that spark when you grind the ground? There were for a while.
Yes.
I haven't seen them in a bit, but they had little titanium nubs in them, or little flint nubs in them, I think, but I haven't seen them in forever.
Ask me again in a week, and I can design some.
There you go.
And put them up on Etsy. But I need a week to sleep, so.
Just Mo also asks, YouTube did the thing, hold on. Last question, and I'll shut up and enjoy the stream. Keep asking questions. Would you do, actually, everybody hold off on asking questions, because in 10 minutes we're doing the giveaways. After the giveaways, you can ask a couple more. But would you do a review on the HD0 Crux 35? Also, have you ever thought of designing your own frame? I did design my own frame with Ryan Harrell, and it, like, everything, as we were doing the design, everybody was moving over to, it was being designed for analog, and through the design process, Walksnail got good, Vistas became everywhere, 03 came out, and it just really didn't make much sense to have an analog only specific 3-inch frame anymore, and it kind of stalled out. Designing your own frame is an unbelievable amount of work if you want to do it right. If you just want to design it and just have CNC madness cut it and just, YOLO, that's easy.
Especially if you want it to like be light and good.
Right. And protect the motors and have a good spot for the battery to mount. There's so many things that go into it. And then you do all that and you get it and it sucks. Like almost always on the first iteration, it's got weird vibrations, weird like resonances. The battery mounting setup that you thought would be great sucks, and then you got to redesign it, and it's a big process to do something good. I'm not going to just do something. If I'm going to do a frame, it's going to be awesome. And that's like a 6 month to a year project of like a lot of time and a lot of back and forth. I'm not an engineer. I don't, and so like, it's amazing that Ryan dumped as much time as he did into it, but like I think it got to the point where it was like this is an awful lot of time to be working for free. I can't pay somebody to do this. So yeah, it's super tough. Realistically, I will leave the frame design to the frame companies. They've got engineers, they've got experience. Yeah, it's an awful lot of work. And then the other thing that happens is you do all that work, you come out with a frame, and 6 months later, a new video system comes out with a different bolt pattern and a different sized camera, and your frame is completely worthless. And so, yeah, it's pretty unforgiving. I think leave the frame design up to the frame companies for the most part.
I kind of want to try it at some point, but
it would be an interesting project, but man, you got to have the time for it.
Yeah.
The time and the patience for it. Would you do a review on the HD0 Crux 35? That's going to be like a $250, $300 rig. I just can't afford it. These bind and flies come out constantly, and there's just no way for me to be able to pay for all of them. Not many of the manufacturers have any interest in sending me stuff because I'm hard on stuff, and I don't care that they send it to me. I care that you guys get a good review, and they know that. And so very few manufacturers have the balls to actually send me anything bind and fly-ish to kind of test. Beta FPV put their money where their mouth was with the Air 65 prototypes, and that was awesome. Newbie Drone has sent me a bunch of stuff. Emax also has sent me a couple of things.
I finally broke something on one of those after beating the hell out of them in the Whoop Den.
Yeah, what was it? I don't even remember.
I lost camera. I don't know what the issue is. I haven't looked at it yet. It could just be a wire just broke, or the camera cracked.
Plugged in? I guess it's direct. No, the camera's direct soldered.
I get OSD. I don't get camera, is what it is. So it's not the VTX, it's the camera.
It's the CO3 camera. I weirdly know that's the model number of the camera in that rig.
But yeah.
And I'd pre-beaten the hell out of that rig. So
yeah, it's been smashed around here by you. It's been smashed around here by me. It's been smashed around at my house by me. It's been pawed out of the air by my dog. At Castle Crash, the first night I just wasn't flying the whoops right. I just don't fly whoops that often, and was just every single gate. I would go through a gate and then I would smack into something at full speed, and then I would go through another gate, smack into something at full speed. And like the whoop den is nice and tall, nice high ceiling, so I was doing
all wood.
Yeah, doing some high stuff and then just and nothing. My batteries are all bent to hell. What you doing over there, Teddy?
He's about to climb the shelves. I will say this.
But yeah, everything else on it is still fine.
That rig has not had as much abuse as most of the Ultimate Freestyle rigs with the Runcam Nano 3. One of the great things about the Runcam Nano 3 is that I swear to God they're actually indestructible. I think
it might just be a wire. So
it could.
We'll
yeah.
Update you guys.
But yeah, that rig has not been babied by any stretch of the imagination, but it's also not had more than 100 batteries put through it. And I've got Runcam Nano 3s that are like 500, 600 batteries deep, and they're fine. So
it's getting
hopefully
close.
It's not the camera itself. Hopefully it's just a wire. But still,
probably getting close to about 100. But
the cameras take so much abuse. So it could totally be a fluke, or but the Air 65s are out there in the world. We will get more and more durability feedback from them over the next bunch of months here. Striker says, should I filter tune my 3-inch? No. Getting to the point in my flying where I want a better quad. Filter tuning won't improve the quad really at all.
Filter tuning, there is potentially room for performance increase if filters are limiting your PIDs. But
oh my God, Teddy, don't.
What is up there?
Don't.
But
toy.
If your PID tuning feels good, you're like dialing in filters even more isn't going to really be even noticeable. Yeah.
Don't do it. Leave them alone.
Don't touch filters if you don't have issues, essentially.
If you want a better flying quad, always remember 95% of it is you. And with conservative filters, you will be able to fly more, and that will make everything better. Like, focusing on yourself versus the gear is the number one thing. It's the one thing that I just wish somebody had told me earlier, because the gear really doesn't matter unless it's like really bad, like really bad gear. Sure, it might limit you.
Some issue, then.
But like that's kind of old school. Like that we don't really have much bad gear anymore.
Some frames.
There's a couple here and there, but I mean, it used to be everything.
Yeah.
Now it's like it's harder to find bad gear now than it is to find half decent gear. So yeah, your setup is almost certainly way better than. I mean, for all of us, our gear is better than we are as pilots. But yeah, I can pretty much guarantee you that if you put 10 to 20 hours into optimizing your gear setup, and then you showed someone your flight footage before and after, they would absolutely not be able to tell any difference. And like any difference that you think you can tell is probably placebo. Stock filters, stock PIDs nowadays on a half decent build is like awesome. Yeah, I mean, it depends.
Are fine.
It depends. 3-inch rigs are
fine.
pretty good,
but
and I know Striker's on pretty big motors, so he's got good response time.
Definitely room for improvement in terms of flight feel and like footage that you're getting from it, with getting a good PID tune. But
Teddy, you one more and you're out of the basement forever. Go ahead.
Come here, Teddy.
Bark again. I want to kick you out.
Come here.
I would prefer to kick you out of here, dog.
Come here.
I wouldn't.
You settle down. Settle down, okay?
So yeah, that's gonna be my recommendation.
What are you trying to get over
to leave it alone. Timmons, what's up, brother? He says, which settings do I need to mess with to stop crash recovery from kicking in when I throw the 3-inch build and 75mm builds really hard to make certain super quick movements? Great question. Go to Google and search for Betaflight GitHub. Go to the Betaflight GitHub in the top right. No. Yep. In the top right corner, search. No, that's not the search. That was not the link. Yeah, it is. Damn it. We want to go. Click here. There it is. Yep. Click here. And now we're gonna search. No, I guess that was it. Search for crash recovery. Nope. Damn it.
Where are you trying to go?
Just search the main Betaflight GitHub. Hold on, it's in here. It'd
be in the Betaflight one.
There you go. That's where you need to go. And then, no, that's not the right search.
Yeah,
maybe it is. No, that's not it. Where's that main fancy looking Betaflight GitHub? Nope. Overview.
What kind of thing is it again?
Actually, let's just try this. What if you Google search for Betaflight crash recovery? No, damn it.
Teddy, hush.
No, that's the issue. Ooh, this might be it. Yay! There it is. All right, so here comes the link. Oh, it's the wiki. Yeah. That's right. Look, betaflight.com. Boy, is that easy. I'm putting that link in the chat, but it's just betaflight.com. And then in the top right corner is the search for crash recovery. And first and foremost, Timmons, just read this. This is a really good read. And it is going to answer your question in here. But it's two things that you want to adjust. It's the D threshold and the G threshold. It's probably the G threshold. When your rates are probably higher than mine. And so when you're like turning it, it's creating a bunch of G-force and it's exceeding that. Increase them both.
Is that have there been changes to the setup since 3.2? Because that's what
Oh, I have no idea.
You're looking at the 3.2 notes right now.
Oh, Yeah, there you go. Make sure you look at the 3.4 notes. It's probably about the same though.
4.5 or whatever we're on now. It's
Eh,
if there's.
Oh, it's gonna drive to
Yeah,
those,
okay,
so
then
they
there's
only
probably
have
no
it in the
changing,
3.2. Yeah. But yeah, read this. This is a really, really, really cool read, and it's gonna show you some stuff that you didn't even know existed in there that you might want to screw around with.
Yeah, there's a ton of good stuff in that wiki.
Yeah, it's not hard to adjust, and
um,
there's like 4 settings. They're fairly straightforward. Read through it, you'll get a better understanding for it. But yeah, D threshold, G threshold, you probably just need to move them up a little bit, and then you'll be good.
Yeah, if you want to learn some tuning knowledge, just
Oh, hold on.
4.3. There's
Yeah, tuning notes are awesome in here.
a hell of a lot of info in here.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't get too tied up in it, though.
don't
Fly more, tune
yeah.
less.
Yeah, but if you're academically curious, this
There you
has
go.
a ton of info of like how things work and
Yeah, man, the Betaflight devs are
stuff.
very kind to us.
Gotta
The
love open
documentation.
source.
Yeah, for real. YouTube did the thing, and it's going to take me a minute. Everybody stop asking good questions. We got to do giveaways. It's already after 11. You can ask more questions that are burning after the giveaways, but we got to jump into it. And I have to get caught up on chat before I go into the giveaways because we use the chat for some of the giveaways. So pause. Striker, you're at. There's a whole bunch of stuff from Striker. You gotta ask me again, Striker. That looks like about 15 minutes of questions there. Freebird says, "What's your favorite toothpick frame?" I haven't flown toothpicks in a long time, but I think the AOS one is pretty good. The old school FPV cycle one is also still probably a great choice, but I'm admittedly not the toothpick guy. Go over to my Discord. There is a text channel for Tiny Whoops and Toothpicks. Ask it in there. There's some people that are way more knowledgeable than me. Also, check out Quad66's channel here on YouTube. He's got some really good info. Tiny Shark FPV says, is there a big difference between 803 and 1002 on the 2S Walksnail 75mm? It seems like it, but I'm only 2 batteries into the 803s, so I'm going to withhold that answer. I have the 1002 right now, and I keep breaking props when I turtle mode, even with beta FPV spacers on the V3 frame. Yeah.
Oops, I'm sorry.
I gotta test it more, brother. I don't want to give you the wrong answer, so just stay tuned. Danzel the Turtle says, said I did a big musical dance number, fireworks and everything. It was twerking. It's true. You missed it. Don't rewind though. It's you'll be disappointed. County FPV says, what's the best in your opinion for an analog camera? For 5-inch good picture. Analog looks like shit no matter what. The Foxeer toothless Starlight Nano works really well during the day, is very low latency, and also works really well at night. And it's tiny and lightweight. And like
5-inch though.
All of those, yep, I run them on all my 5-inch rigs.
Okay.
And so all of those things are like just demolish the fact that like there might be another camera that looks like this much better, but then you send it through analog and it no longer looks this much better.
I don't know if it's I haven't flown analog in other than whoops in years,
Right.
but I don't know if it's still like you still get it, but don't get the Ratel 2
Yeah,
unless you like
right.
like I think there's other ones that
doubt
are
they still
just
sell
good
it.
at just as good at night. It's really good at night, but it has more latency than DJI. It's like 35 milliseconds of latency. Oh, then
It is still sold.
yeah, yeah, it's a great low light, but yeah,
Whatever camera you're gonna get, try to find a YouTube review of it
Mhm.
where they look at the latency.
yes,
Analog cameras, they can either be super low latency or they can be like normal latency.
But
and if you're gonna fly analog, you might as well get crazy.
I
low latency.
realized a while later when I switched from analog to DJI, the reason it felt so good, like DJI felt so good to me, was because I was running lower latency than I was on analog.
Right.
Which is hilarious.
It's almost hard to do that.
Yeah. But I could see everything at night.
Right. So yeah, in my opinion, don't be super concerned with the image quality on analog, because as soon as it goes into the analog VTX,
yeah,
it looks like ass.
try to see a video of like how it responds to like lights, like bloom and stuff. Like if there's bright lights in front of you and it's like they're getting lens flares, or they're just all like blown out and stuff. That's more important than like detail, because detail is going to be about the same on all of them.
Denzel the Terrible says, plus no one cool uses analog. Anyway, great. SafeZone says, thank you for being so humble and chill at Castle Crash. Such an amazing time.
Aww.
Great to meet you, dude.
So nice hanging.
Siskel says, Whoop Barn was tough. Knocked the whole Walksnail lens off my 2S twice.
Ouch.
Jesus. Striker says, gonna go for a set of the HQ 3x2.5s and a set of 3x3s, maybe 3.1 as well. Awesome. Shane and Mindy Hale, got to meet them as well. Was also meeting all of you at Castle Crash. So sorry about last night. It's all good.
Thank you so much for all the food. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, for real. And then Dronester says, look, there's no placebo. I fly 2G4 after Super X, same motors, same weight. 2G4 feels a bit drunk, let's say. That's interesting. Are they same motors, same weight? Isn't the Super X is cut down a little bit? I would think that would be lighter. Super X is higher amp FETs, so maybe you're on motors that are drawing enough to push the 2G4 5 amp FETs close to their limit, and maybe the Super X FETs, I think the Super X FETs are either 10 or 12 amp. So yeah, that's interesting. I'd be curious what motors they are, but we got to do the giveaways. So hold off on that until after this. I've got to click some things in some places. One of the other awesome perks of hopping onto my Patreon for as little as 10 cents a day, come on,
do it,
is you get full access to my Discord.
You were there.
And there is a text channel called the Video Collective over there. In the Video Collective, you can post your edits for people to trash. No, nobody trashes on them,
wow.
Other than me. And when I'm doing the things to get the giveaways set up every month, I play a couple of these videos. The first one we're going to watch is Croms. Why did it open down there? Hold on. All right, I'm going to get these muted up. And the second one we're going to watch is going to be... don't truncate the names, you jerk. CiottiFPV. Oh, yeah, great. Do that. And the third one we're going to watch is Timmons. All right, so that's coming up in 1 second. Let me make sure I got what I need over here. Yep, got that. Let me just... Nah, we'll be fine. All right, so enjoy. Wait, no, hold on. I need to play some copyright-free donkey music. It's important that it's donkey music.
Donkey music?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay.
Where is... There it is. Oh, I didn't mark these with red. Hold on. Let me check. Some of these are... No, hold on. Yeah, it's a good one. All right, cool. Prepare for some donkey music and some flying from folks in the chat. Here comes some donkey music. I'll be back in a minute. Good timing. All right. Even noticed 12G from the cat slapping it. And I said,
I don't
that's
know if
a
it was actually
strong
from
ass
the crash
cat.
or the cat from a crash, but I'm assuming it's from the cat.
All right. The links to all three of those are in the chat. Click in there and subscribe to those people, or else.
Do it. You.
All right.
Right there. Do it.
Let's
Subscribe.
get this going. 3 Patreon giveaways first. Let's get those going. And first up is going to be the Cinewhoop and Toothpick tier. Here's what you're playing to win, my friends. Whole bunch of really fun stickers, as usual. Show you a couple here. Get out of there. We've got Broken Prop Crew. We've got... Who's this? Hallelujah. Specimen. We've got little Beast of the East action. We've got CMYK. All the giveaways have these awesome little CMYK stickers. That's not needed anymore. We've got a little bit of holographic We Bleed FPV action. 2 of them because they stuck together. Fly Tribe. And cool. Those are all the stickers. Very cool little 3D printed keychain things from Custom FPV. All the giveaways are getting these. Little set of Cinewhoop screws. A little set of the foam fetuses for the newbie drone frames, even though I don't run these. Maybe you will. Be careful with these. Make sure that they don't touch the motor shaft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fat Shark.
That took me a minute.
Clothy thing, you know, eyeglass clothy jam.
Nice
This
fiber.
is lots of Cinewhoop propellers. Not one of every, like I'd previously been doing, but a whole bunch of Cinewhoop propellers. Probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8 different sets, so you can try a whole bunch of different props. Cockroach 82 frame with the little foam. The frame apparently rattles a bunch. You put the frame around the insides of the ducts and it stops the rattle. I haven't tried this frame yet, but yeah, this is for 45mm props. So the new HQ 45mm, really lightweight, really good performing props in this frame will probably be pretty awesome. Really cool little 3D printed 6 packs a day battery holder from Hockey Rounds. And then, thanks to We Bleed FPV, a set of their 0802 32,500 kV screamers. 32,500 kV, to me, is like the best middle ground. It's not too much power. It's definitely enough power. You can run them on the tri-blades and the bi-blades. Yeah, these are, if you could only have one set of motors forever, it might be these. Personally, I think I would maybe do the 36,000s just so I can limit them down if I don't want all the power. But for most people, this is all the power that you will ever need. And yeah, it's kind of the sweet spot, I think. I flew my 32,000 kV rig more than any other this weekend. And yeah, it's just awesome. So arguably the best Cinewhoop motors that there are for a 65mm rig. That's what you guys are playing for. Here's the thing in the place, and let's see who's gonna win it. Where's Goat at? The goat screams and the tickets get blown away. Micro PP is on the bottom right corner hanging in. Kevin the Alien down there as well. Norval on the bottom left. Andy X on the hard left there. Tongue Out FPV. Everybody that I just mentioned got blown away. Other than Kevin the Alien, who actually just won. Congratulations, Kevin. That's weird. I very rarely call out one of the names that wins. I'm going to write your name down on here. I'm going to get your address off of Patreon. I'm going to send you your stuff, my friend. Thank you for being a supporter. Nope. That doesn't work. Kevin believes in aliens. Kevin the Alien. Congrats, dude. Next up, we've got the 3-inch and Cinewhoop tier. And this one's going out in a little shipping container because it's a little thing. We'll see in a second. We've got a whole bunch of stickers. Another Hallelujah. Another one of these little guys. CMYK. We've got Danish Stallion on this one. Broken Prop Crew. We've got a We Bleed FPV. And a Fly Tribe. Then we've also got a little fresh XT30 with a wee little capacitor on there. Make sure you read the voltage rating on this capacitor. It's 16 volts. So kind of maybe works on 4S, but realistically this is going to be better for 3S. The Fat Shark glasses cleaning cloth thing. And then the main thing is one of these 20 by 20 Cricket flight controllers. I believe this has an MPU 6000, and flight controllers really haven't changed much in the past bunch of years with a little breakout cable. So even though that's an older flight controller, most of my rigs are on Talon flight controllers, which were discontinued like 2+ years ago, I think. So yeah, totally.
Yep, 6000.
Yep, awesome. Totally valid flight controller to use. What was that? Oh yeah, the snappy bit. So yeah, 20 by 20. It's also got the pads on the outside, which is actually really, really nice. And it's even got the grommets pre-installed, so you don't have to lose your effing mind putting those on there. Let's see who's gonna win.
And factory conformal coded.
Yeah, right. It's actually Newbie Drone flight controller. I don't know who makes Newbie Drone's flight controllers, but yeah, I've heard really good things about that. Cricket still runs that that flight controller and those, I think the ESC too. They did a Cricket ESC as well. Let me make sure I'm on the right scene. Yeah, here we go. Friends, let's see who wins this one. Come on. I was about to say Monkey FPV, but he got blown away immediately. Mr. Huggy on the top there, Crom on the top right, Bob Noxious just got blown away, Propellant FPV just got blown away, Pablo Fernandez is on the bottom right, Patrick Scott, it's between Pablo and Patrick. Oh, no, it's not Pablo, it's Parker. Parker Lipscomb, you have won. Congrats, brother. I will send you some stuff. You will go to the mailbox and be surprised and happy. I talked to a bunch of people this weekend that were like, dude, I didn't even know that I won. It's just the thing came in the mail. It was so cool. I'm like, that's what I want. I kind of would rather you guys not see that you've won and just get a mysterious package with white powder on it and Cinewhoop things in it.
Maybe not that first part.
Congrats, Parker. You're probably not watching right now, but that's okay because I have your address over on Patreon. Last up, we've got the 5-inch tier. The simplest one of the night. It's even pre-assembled for the time being, but I am going to tear it apart for you because it's kind of silly to ship it put together. Why are these sneaking in here? We've got some stickers. Netcat FPV. We've got Brain 3D holographic. We've got Broken Prop Crew, Danish Stallion again, CMYK again, We Bleed FPV again, Flytrap Magazine again, and this very cool thing from Custom FPV. Glasses cleaning cloth, Fat Shark branded, and then we've got a Axis Mantis toboggan frame. It's the official Mantis toboggan frame. Official Dr. Mantis toboggan. First person that calls out what show that's from gets nothing. You get nothing. I just realized I was on the wrong scene. But it was mostly the same stickers. I will take this apart. I've even got the box for it. Look at that. Shout out to Frank Nicholas for sending tons of stuff over earlier this year, which were a lot of these giveaways are from. A couple of extra parts here. But yeah, I'll take this apart for you and bag it up. Although, I mean, it does kind of fit in there. Maybe I'll just leave it put together. Because you're going to put it together anyway. I'm afraid it's going to punch through the plastic. I'll probably take it apart. Yeah. But yeah, Axis Flying Mantis toboggan frame. It's actually just called the Mantis frame. Apparently this is a good frame. It's got a really cool CNC sandwich plate on the bottom, which is pretty slick. Interesting spot to put CNC. FPV raffle. Here we go. Let's see who wins. Aaron FPV hanging in on the bottom right. Kevin Sumner hard left. Bob Noxious just got blown away. Not applicable. Metal Dirt Skin top right. Kevin Sumner. Metal Dirt Skin. Kevin Sumner. It's Metal Dirt Skin. Why is it taking so long? There it goes. Blandon, congratulations, homie. You have won Mantis Toboggan's custom frame. Look at these cutouts. You know what those are for? That's... Wait, no, they're not. Because there's no screw holes in them. What are those there for? There's these. What are those there for? Oh, it's just to reduce more weight. Look at them. Look at you, Axis flying. It's the only reason to do it, right? There's no other way to. There's no holes to mount the damn thing. There's little cutouts in the arms that look like they're for Oh My God's 2004 motors, but there's not any screw holes in there, and those motors wouldn't make sense on this heavy of a frame. So it's Axis. So the arms are the thickest carbon in the entire frame. So if you're going to remove extra weight from somewhere, removing it from the arms gets you the most bang for your buck. So they have like hollowed out the part of the arm that's all the way out, which is kind of the best place. That's really slick. I really like that. I've never seen anybody do that before. That's awesome.
Also have that hole drilled on the arm end.
Make sure it's on the right one. Yeah, metal, dirt,
just reducing a bit of extra weight.
Skin, metal. If you build this, let us know how it is.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a whole lot, but I mean, Axis makes really good stuff. So
I think Vitrify.
Bet you it's good. Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. There you go, friends. Last giveaway of the night is Super Chat based. I'm going to show you what you're playing for in a minute, but basically, go over to CiottiFPV.com. There's a PayPal button, or use YouTube Super Chats. $5 per ticket. You can buy as many as you want. Here's what you're playing for. Yeah. First and foremost, thanks to Douglas Otwell. It's a gangly fan. The only way to get this is to win one of these giveaways. This is on a barrel plug, so you can use your goggle batteries. It'll run on 2S. It's really good on 3S. So if you've got a 3S goggle battery, this thing is awesome. Run it when you're soldering to get the fumes out, or put your digital stuff on top of it to keep them cool while it's plugged into the computer so it doesn't melt into the dirt. And I mean, come on, look.
Do you make that?
Look at that sparkly red. No, Douglas Otwell makes these. And sends them to me. He's awesome. His local library has a laser cutter, so he goes to his local library and cuts the plexi and then pieces it together. They're so cool. He does such a good job. It's awesome. We've got the full sticker sheet designed by CMYK, isn't it? Yeah. We've got a Flywoo sticker sheet and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. Some of the same stickers, but I'll show them to you anyway. Danish Stallion. The foam fetuses. A little thing is super glue. Start buying big packs of little things of super glue, because I've bought 7 or 8 different big containers of super glue with different methods of keeping air out of them. It doesn't work. There's no way to have a big bottle of super glue last more than 6 months.
Yes, there is.
Really? I got they're gone. I got these ones from
I'll send you which ones I have, but I've had them for like a year. And
I forget who. Really?
Yeah.
It had a thin like needle applicator tube, and then the cap had a big long stick that went down it. I'm like, surely this will work. Nope. Hardened inside the damn tube.
They do slowly get thicker over time, but yeah, the super glue I have is like one of the ones like Adam Savage. Really recommend.
Of course. Awesome.
And yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. I love that. Fat Shark goggle / glasses thing. 6 packs a day, 3D printed jib jab from Hockey Rounds. Another one of these little guys. Very cool little ultra limited edition. Oh God. Gangly Gang little taggy thing that Douglas Otwell made out of the waist, right? You got this whole center spot that pops out.
Hell yeah.
Burger Prop Crew sticker, Fly Tribe sticker, Netcat sticker, Brain 3D holographic. Don't need this. CMYK FPV. I already showed you the Flywoo. Already showed you the Gangly Gang. This is a 5 sticker set. And version 2 thermally resistive putty by Mass Adhesive. Yeah, he made it a little bit better. Apparently, it gets less gooey when it gets really hot. Oh no, I'm sorry. It gets less sticky. The old stuff is like if you touch it a bunch, your fingers are just kind of until you wipe them off.
I still gotta get some of that stuff.
Oh, it's the best. It is just the greatest.
I always just tape whatever I'm soldering.
Right.
Just like take a piece of double-sided sticky tape, just stick it down.
Yep.
Just to my bench, and then as long as it's not something I have to like really heat up a bunch, like it's fine.
All right, friends, let's get this going. I gotta pull up my electronic mail, and let's get it going. Danzilla, I'm gonna put you on here first.
Danzilla, CMYK, and off access.
Oh, look at you go. All right, Danzilla with a 15 Canadian Californian Maple Leaf Rag super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, one for me, one for CMYK, one for off axis. Making me work for it, as well you should. Let me get you guys all added. Danzilla, CMYK. I'm just going to type these guys in. And off axis. Thank you, dude. Super kind of you. And then we've got CMYK with a $15 PayPal. He says, one for Danzilla and one for each of the 2 newest patrons. All right, so Danzilla
making him work tonight
is back on here. Let me add some spaces. And then 2 newest patrons, we will give a couple of shout outs here. Let's see who hopped on while I was out of town. All right, so we've got Remind Me to Build. Welcome to the Gangly Gang. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon. Thanks to CMYK, you're getting entered into tonight's giveaway. Let's get you going. There we go.
I hope they win.
I know, right? What a great name. And then it's going to be Scotty Scott. Welcome to the Gangly Gang, my friend. Thank you for the support. Send CMYK a thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, and then that one's good. We've got, hey, David Ciotti with a $20 super chat. That's my dad. He says for the so that's gonna be 4 entries for the non-winning timestamper, which would be Quadbod. My dad does this pretty much every giveaway live stream for the 2 timestampers. And Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper won last month. So now it's all going to Quadbod. So Quadbod's getting 4 entries here, which is well deserved because the 2 of them are doing God's work with the timestamps. There it is. Quadbod's on there 4 times. Thank you, Dad. Very cool.
That was really cool.
Everybody behave. My dad's watching. Put the blunts out, you goddamn degenerates. Kevin Sumner, holy shit, with a $50 PayPal. He says 5 more tickets for each of the first 2 people that super chat. Oh, I get it. For the first 2 people. So that would be Danzilla the Terrible and Scotty Scott. I think I'm reading that right?
5 more tickets for each.
So Danzilla is Goliath tonight with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's 7 total. Awesome. Scotty Scott with a $10 super chat, and then so that's 2, and then it's gonna be 5. Oh my god, Danzilla and Scotty Scott are gonna be duking it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7. Did I what?
Get the. Okay, yeah.
And Kevin, thank you so much, dude. Holy hell. Super supportive OG Gangly Ganger. Dub Deuce with a $10 super chat. PayPal, he says 2 tickets, please, with a PLEEZ. You got it, my friend. Thank you for the support. We've got 1 Dub Deuce, 2 Dub Deuces. And damn, Frank Nicholas with an $85 PayPal. Dude, thank you. That was back at 10:30 though. He says 533 fund plus 5 for shipping. Damn, dude, thank you so much. So the 533 motor fund is now should I do the math? I don't have to do the math. Oh no, 80 plus 30 is 110.
Yeah.
Frank Nicholas did the math. Thank you for doing the math. Awesome. What's the next fund, friends? Frank, damn dude, thank you so much. Actually, let's do that because they're there was shipping. I already have the motors. I preemptively bought the motors. The deal with the 533 motors is those are the lightest of the 2207s, and so those motors are going to go onto one of the glides, and it's going to be a blind test to shut its blunty up. It's not to shut its blunty up. Everybody wonders if you can actually tell a difference between 2207s and 2306s.
Yes.
Look, 2306s make less power, but they stay cooler. 2207s make significantly more power. I will motor limit both of the motors down to be the exact same KV, and then the ones that make more power on my rigs that I'm familiar with will be the 2207s. But let's do it for real anyway, because, I don't know, you never know. But I've flown enough 2207s to know, but we'll actually do it. And then, yeah, you can tell a difference. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter whether you can tell a difference or not. If you want a motor that makes more power, you get a 2207. If you want a motor that is a little bit more consistent, that stays a little bit more cool, that makes a little bit less power, you get the 2306. That's it. No use overthinking it or arguing on the internet about it.
It's also not a massive difference in power.
It's not, but it's there
changing,
for sure.
Like going higher KV will be more significant. Like a small jump in KV will be more significant than different size motors.
I also forgot 2207s will give you slightly better response time. Whether or not you'll notice that, I don't know.
Depends on how sharply you tune, but
the bigger difference will be in just power.
Milliseconds or nanoseconds, even maybe. It's not really.
Frank,
it's like
you so
maybe
much,
like
dude.
a tiny bit better prop wash, but that'll be it.
I saw a couple. There we go. Shannon Mindy Hill with a $10 super chat. He says for Scotty Scott. Nice. So Scotty Scott is officially in the lead for the most number of tickets, and I think we're good. You guys got like 30 more seconds before the quad is going to blow these tickets away. I lied. You have no more seconds. Away we go. Somebody's going to win a gangly fan and a bunch of other fun stuff, and that person's name is...
I want one of those things.
Coming up. Denzel the Terrible hanging on the bottom right. Quadbot on the bottom right as well. Scotty Scott all the way down on the bottom right. Denzel the Terrible is all over the place. Scotty Scott is almost gone. It might be Denzel. It's Denzel the Terrible. Congratulations, dude. You have got the gangliest of the gangly fans in all of the gangle fans.
Denzel says respin if I win. I'm already blessed.
Oh my god. Awesome. All right. So we are going to hit play again, and I think that removes Danzilla. Here we go. Oh boy, the goat is in rough shape right now. Danzilla, that is very cool of you, man.
You're amazing, Danzilla.
Scotty Scott on the bottom left. It's gonna be Scotty. Nope. Quadbod's in here. Scotty Scott or Quadbod. No, off axis is on the right. Ooh, it's Quadbod. There it is. Congratulations, dude. Well deserved. I will grab your info.
You have
and
such a generous group.
Yeah, for real.
Just hardly anyone even super chatted themselves.
I know, right? Let me.
Just everyone is super chatting each other, which balances out. But...
It does. Let me check something real quick. Let me make sure I have Quadbod's info.
You're on the.
All right, it's fine. It's fine. Quadbod, I have your... Nope. Quadbod, I need your address, my friend. Send it to me, please. Thank you for playing, everybody. Thank you for being generous. Thank you for making this possible. Straight up. Teleport FPV says, where can I go to get one of your stickers? CiottiFPV.com, and then the Etsy store has a bunch of new ones. I think it's totally caught up right now. I think... No. There's a couple more stickers that are going to pop up there. I'll show you. Here's the one sticker that's not up there. And it's actually a sticker sheet. And it's the one that I showed a minute ago, so you probably already know what it looks like. But other than this sticker sheet, every single sticker that I've got right now is over on the Etsy store. If you don't want to check out through Etsy, you don't have to. You can just figure out what you want and send me an email. Etsy takes a small %. It's no big deal. If you want to be protected, go through Etsy. If you want me to get an extra $1, just do a PayPal and put in the notes what you're looking for, or message me, or whatever, and we'll work it out. CMYK says, better super glue fund. Ginger FPV says, "Can I send you the step repo file from PID Toolbox? I think I got it as good as I'm going to get for the Wizard X220S." Ginger, believe it or not, I don't really use black box to PID tune. I use my ear and just having flown forever. You can get your tunes damn close without black box. You are probably a better tuner than I am if you've already figured out
if you know
PID
how to use
Toolbox
PID
and whatnot.
then
so yeah. And I mean, if you think you're close, yeah. I mean, if it's not flying away, if the motors aren't getting hot,
don't try to get all the way to the razor's edge.
That's
get it to
sure.
where you can't see anything, any issue, like any bounce back or anything, and like prop wash feels good and stuff. Don't be chasing just numbers that you can't feel, because that'll just make it to where if you crash and something slightly breaks, slightly like a motor gets
even
a little
bent prop,
dented, a bent prop, tiny crack in the frame, it'll just, the tune will fall apart faster if it's more on the edge. So
truer words have never been spoken.
You want it, if you're like me, you want it really dialed in, but not all the way. You just,
margin of error for the win.
Like having like your ratios like really dialed in, good, but then back off the master multiplier. Don't put that up to the extreme. But
James Thomas had to travel for a month, and he comes back to so many motors, frames, 1S, 2S, now HGLRC. I'm so confused, kind of. We'll get you caught back up pretty quick, James. The HGLRC thing, I don't know. We'll see. If you want to get caught up, the Whoop Wednesday streams have had the majority of the testing. But I mean, there's timestamps on all this stuff. So if you see something, I mean, you could just kind of open up a bunch of the streams and then just use the search function to like Control F, Command F, to kind of look for anything that's interesting. But yeah, no, I try to double, triple cover stuff. So yeah, ask questions. We'll get you caught back up, man. CMYK is in the house. And Maxim, last name that begins with an O. I'm not going to massacre it on you. Says, could you advise how we can decrease CPU temperature and which temperature for CPU is okay? Easiest rule of thumb is if temperature? CPU temperature? How do you know that the CPU is getting too hot? Are you seeing like ESC core temperatures? I'm going to assume that you're getting ESC core temperature warnings in, I assume. Wait, no, there's two different ones.
I don't know.
What does
is it just like the core temp warning?
Think of it. Core temperature.
Because if it's like spiking immediately, like when you plug in, then that might be something is up.
What is it? I mean, is the core temperature referring to the ESC or the... I only really get it on the tiny whoops, and so it doesn't matter because they're all in the same board, right? But like, what is the core temperature even referring to? Is that the flight controller processor or the ESC, right? What the hell?
I've never seen that except on tiny whoops, and I've never really... I was just like, okay, gotta cruise around a little to cool it off.
Yeah, what the hell?
I've never really thought about it beyond that.
All right. Is this what we're talking about? I've seen a couple cases.
MCU core
core temperature. Okay. So, if you have core temperature warnings coming up on a tiny whoop, it's probably an ESC-based problem. If it's a rig with a separate flight controller, I guess... No, see, you don't get core temperatures on a regular flight controller by overclocking the... Not overclocking, but running the too high of a D-shot or...
that is weird. Yeah, like, I've only ever seen that on tiny whoops.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm going to assume that it's a tiny whoop.
Sitting plugged in the sun. I've never seen that on...
Yeah, me either. Me either. So the assumption here is that it's a tiny whoop. What's going on is that you are either asking too much from the FETs. We've been running into this over the last like couple of weeks. So you've either got a set of motors on there that are asking so much from the FETs that the FETs are getting really hot. The whole AIO is getting hot, and that's getting the processor hot. So basically what the core temperature warning means is that your main processor, the F4, the F7 processor, is getting too hot. So when you have a separate flight controller, there's really nothing on there that's getting hot. And so with a separate flight controller, neither one of us have ever seen that, and I've never really heard of it. Where we get these core temperature warnings typically is on Cinewhoops, where everything is on one board. So when the ESC FETs get too hot, they dump all that heat into the PCB, and that gets the main processor too hot, and then you get the core temp warnings. So either you've got you've got an AIO with FETs that are a little bit too low of an amperage, and then you've got motors that are a little bit too big. So like an 802 33,000 or an 0803 27,000. It's actually 0802.8. They can ask for too much from 5 amp FETs that they get too hot, and you start to get that. The other scenario is that your PID tune is too far, or you don't have enough filtering, or actually what probably is you've got too many mechanical vibrations. Props are banged up. Change the props first and foremost. First thing you want to do to try to fix this. Fresh set of propellers. If that doesn't help, your motors are probably banged up. Again, this is me assuming that it's a Cinewhoop. If it's not a Cinewhoop, a lot of this is out the window, but I'm pretty sure it's a Cinewhoop. If a fresh set of props doesn't fix it, your motor shafts are probably bent. Take the props off, spin the motors up in the
65 millimeter whoop.
Okay, awesome.
2G4 AIO.
Spin the motors up in Betaflight. If this is the motor shaft, take your fingernail and just put it gently up next to the motor shaft. If the motor shaft is bent, you'll feel it. If the motor shaft is true, it'll be nice and smooth. Yep, that's all you got to do. Do each motor, do it relatively low RPM. You don't got to crank them up. Do like 10%. If you find a motor that the motor shaft is vibrating, just replace it. Don't try to bend it back straight. If you bend it, I just saw something on Facebook when I was starting to stream sorry, not Facebook, on my Discord, of like ways to bend the motor shafts back straight. If you manage to actually, so first and foremost, figuring out which direction it's bent in is going to be really difficult. And then trying to bend it back straight without it rotating, and then you make it worse, or you bend it like 90 degrees, is going to be really tough. And then even if you manage to bend that thing back straight, it is just going to bend in that same direction right away. I played this game with 5-inch motors for many years, and essentially like fresh set of 5-inch motors, crash them 20, 30 times, motor shaft gets bent, spend a bunch of time trying to get it bent back straight, and then you go out and you crash it twice and it bends back again. You do all the work again to try to figure out exactly how it is, smash it with a hammer in a 5-inch motor's case because it's a big, thick, like 4 3mm motor shaft. Go back out, you crash it once, it bends back in that same direction. Like once you've bent it, it is now like weakened or whatever in that one spot, and it's weak, and it's just going to keep going. So in my opinion, it's not necessarily worth it. In fairness, I haven't tried it with Cinewhoop motors, but I can all but guarantee that it's just going to be this thing that you chase over and over again, and you start to spend all your time bending motor shafts back instead of flying.
Cinewhoop motors might be thin enough where they don't really weaken that much, just because it's not stretching the metal all that much. But
yeah, Cinewhoop motors are pretty cheap. You're gonna go through a bunch of them anyway. I don't know. If on one hand it's kind of worth a shot, but I don't know, stuff like that, it's tough because how much time are you gonna spend doing that? What is your time worth, right? Like Cinewhoop motors are $8, $9, $10 per, and a fresh set of motors is magic. And buy an extra set, you got 4 replacements, away you go. Whatever.
Yeah.
What happened? Where am I at here? So yeah, those are the 2 things that I think you've got going on. If Also make sure that the AIO is not like bound up. We put rubber grommets on these AIOs on our flight controllers to kind of like let the frame and the motors and the props vibrate separately from the AIO. So if you've got like a wire jammed between the AIO and the frame, it's no longer going to be able to be isolated from the vibrations below it. It's going to be a part of that. And our propellers are always going to vibrate a little bit. Our motors are always going to vibrate a little bit. So make sure that this is what I call the mechanical system. Make sure that mechanical system is sound, and away you go. The third thing it could be is just that the AIO is on its way out. That is one of the signs that you've got a FET that's like dying, and it could just be, and it's like,
if it
lasts a little bit.
Happens like life. Immediately when you plug it in, it's probably that. If it's like, if it goes away when you're cruising around, then it's probably fine.
Let us know. Yeah. That's a tough one to troubleshoot, admittedly, but there's a bunch of stuff for you to try.
What's up, CMYK?
Hey, I'm caught up there. Cool. 661FPV says core temp is... Oh, thank you, dude. From the flight controller processor, you can type status. Oh, no shit. You can type status into the CLI and read it. I raised the core temperature warning threshold to a higher number from default. Yeah, that's one of the ways to fix it. It's super funny. Joshua put a video out a while ago, how to fix it, and I think that was it. I think the suggestion was just to either turn it off or raise the threshold. If you type core temperature warning Betaflight into YouTube, it'll grab that video for you. It looks like he did it twice, July 12th and August 13th. So yeah, there's some stuff here on YouTube how to fix it. Or so yeah, a lot of people just turn it off. In your OSD menu, there's a section on the right there of like warnings, and one of those warnings is core temperature warning. So you can just turn that off and just YOLO the shit out of it. For me, I would rather know about it so that I can at least try to troubleshoot it. And then if you've tried to fix all the other things and you're kind of at this place where like, yeah, maybe this AIO is just on its way out, sure, turn it off, because having that warning is going to not let the other warnings pop up, like, oh, I don't know, low battery. So like, don't fly around with the core temperature warning just banging away, because you're not going to get any other warnings. But like 661 said, you can raise the threshold in the CLI. I'll bet you those Joshua videos show you how to do that. He probably says like, hey, you can increase this, or you can turn. He's probably going to say exactly what I'm saying right now. So yeah, check those videos out and you'll be good to go. 661 raises his to 75C-ish. It doesn't... Yeah, he says or something, so it might not exactly be 75. But when you go into the CLI, it'll when you type when you make a change in the CLI, it'll show you the default setting. A lot of times it'll show you the available settings, and you can play there. Drones just says it's almost 5 a.m. here, going to bed. Let me know what your ideas might be on that difference in flying Super X and 2G4. I did right before the giveaways. I talked about that. The main thing I would need to know to dive deeper is what motors are on there.
I think you said they were identical between them.
Right, but if they're 802 33,000s, that's just too much for the 5 amp FETs on the 2G4. So yeah, tell me a little bit more. But yeah, I talked about it for a couple of minutes right before the giveaways. Doubles FPV, looking at both Mobile 6 and 7. I see the camera wires are smashed between the AIO and the frame. Are you routing that differently, and how much noise does that cause? I've always been super freaked out by that, but it has never really made a significant enough difference. I've tried to like direct solder. I've taken rigs that have that setup and then direct soldered the camera, which completely eliminates that, and it didn't change anything. So here's the other thing. Where those wires, basically it looks worse than it is. The ducts on the Cinewhoop frames are like this. And so when you go, so you've got the outside of the duct like this, right? And so when you go to put that AIO down, those wires are like into that plastic, right? But once you get it over that lip of the duct and you drop it down, I think there might actually be like a nanometer gap between those wires and the frame. Regardless of what it is, it doesn't affect it. The 2G4s all have that, and they all fly brilliantly, just as good, if not better, than any of the other AIOs that don't have anything. So, yeah, it weirds me out, doubles, but I've tested it and it's okay like that. It's super weird. Also, maybe like that part of the frame. So like that's the inside of the frame here where that's happening, and the inside here is braced, right? Like you've got this part of the duct, and then it's braced here. That part braced. So I guess maybe this inside part of the frame doesn't vibrate as hard as out here, which is going to kind of wobble around. So maybe that has something to do with it, but for anybody that doesn't know what the hell we're talking about, and this is total Greek, I can show you. So this is a 2G4. It does this in pretty much any frame that you put it in. And so right down, where the hell is it? Why can I not see it? I guess it is kind of hard to see from the top, but yeah, see that little camera plug there on the top of the screen? So that's the camera plug, and it really looks bad right now, right? Like there's the, oh, you can't even see the wires. Now you can really see it from the bottom here, right? So you've got that little guy. Can you do me a favor and click the OBS window?
Yeah.
Just so I have it full screen. Awesome. So yeah, those camera wires are just barely kind of maybe touching that duct, but it just doesn't matter. It's just magic. What you absolutely would not want to do is route these wires upwards. If you routed those wires upwards, not only would they push harder against the wider part of the plastic, but they would pinch in between the... Wait, no, they're not there. There. They would pinch in between the frame and the actual PDB. So if you have those camera wires pointing upwards, that's going to be a problem. So don't do that. Point them downwards like this. And then this is one of the RC car chasing rigs, so they go forwards. On a freestyle rig, right where my fingernail is, you're going to put those wires through that nice big gap there. And that way they're not solidly mounting the flight controller to the thing. But yeah, you would totally think that that's a problem, but I've tested it a bunch, and it is not.
Also, they're probably silicone wires, so that's...
Yeah, nice and soft. True. What else we got? Tiny Shark FPV says, would it be okay to drill out the 40mm HQ props to make it fit a 1.5mm shaft? I'm meaning to do that. I haven't done the HQ props yet. I have done a set of 1210s, Gemfan 1210s. The Gemfan 1210 has a big, like, thick hub on the propeller, and so there's tons of plastic there to drill into to go from 1 mil to 1.5. The HQ props, that hub is much smaller, and so on the Gemfan prop, it's not going to make the hub any weaker just because there's so much plastic in the hub. The HQ hub being so much smaller, it very well might turn into a fragile propeller that just blows the propeller blades off, which is one of the reasons why I haven't done it. I mean, if I have, yeah, it might be fine. Like, here's what I'm talking about. Is there a set of 1210s? There is indeed. So on a 1210, neither one of these are drilled out, for the record. These both still have the 1mm holes in them, but look at how much meat there is on the outside of that 1.5mm hole here. This will look even better from the bottom. There you go. Right, so you got a ton of extra plastic outside of that. Well, no, this is actually bad. I want to show the top, because the bottom has a taper to it, so it looks like it's a bigger hole. The top does not. Ah, perfect. There we go. So see all that extra plastic out there? So you can drill that out to 1.5 and it's totally fine. But then if you look at the HQ prop, that hub is smaller. I think you'll be fine. I feel like it will be okay. Here's the main problem, though, is that first and foremost, the only chance that you're going to have of getting that thing perfectly centered is to buy a set of drill bits that give you 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and then 1.5. Be really gentle with the 1.5, though, because you can remove too much material and then the damn thing is worthless. Although you can do the little trick that I show you guys with the sharp tip tweezers. But even better, if you can find a drill bit kit with 1.0, 1.05, 1.1, 1.15, 1.2, 1.25, it sucks. The process of drilling these little ass propellers from 1 mil to 1.5 millimeters is a total pain in the ass, because you have to step it up like that to be able to get it not only centered like this, like if the propeller is sitting sideways here, it's hard to get it centered like this. It's also hard to get it to not drift like this, and this is even worse because then the propeller does that. The set of 1210s that I did, 2 of them are pretty good. 1 of them is iffy. 1 of them is bad. And so you probably won't be able to get, like, if you're gonna do it, do like 8 or 16 of them. Also because like you're gonna bend and break the propellers and you're gonna need to have extras, and going back through that process of chucking the drill, chucking up and down, drill bit in, drill bit out, it just sucks, man. So if you're gonna do it, do 8 or 12 or even 16 of the props at a time. That way you put the 1.1 drill bit in, you do a prop, you do the next, 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 right? You chuck it, next one. Yeah, the process sucks. It's damn near impossible to get them perfect, but if you do enough of them, you'll get 4 that are relatively close, and then what happens is you don't fly the rig hard because you've spent an hour or 2 getting the propellers drilled properly out, and you're like, that sucked, I don't ever want to do that again. And so like when you're about to fly the rig hard, you're like, well, no, it's like in the back of your mind. Even if like you force yourself to do it, it's still in the back of your mind, and you're never going to fly that thing like super hard the way you should be. So yeah, my main recommendation is to not do it, but if you're going to do it, you have to step up. It would be nice if there was like a stepped drill bit. Somebody mentioned that you can use, there's a different kind of drill bit. Oh, I have one of them. Maybe it says it on there. There's a different kind of a drill bit that will... Oh, one of the recommendations is to spin the drill bit backwards, so it's not driving itself through the hub. It's going to be harder. You're going to have to push harder. But yeah, you can try that. Try to spin the drill bit backwards, and that'll apparently keep it centered better. But there is reamer. Reamer drill bits are 661 typed it. It popped up in my chat as soon as I said it. Yeah, you can get reamer drill bits. I bet you won't be able to find a set of 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 reamer drill bits. But if you can, use those. Use reamer drill bits. You probably won't be able to find them. Try spinning the drill bits backwards. You're taking off like the tiniest little bit of plastic, so you'll be able to push hard enough with a regular drill bit spinning backwards, and that might give you much better results. A regular drill bit, like, it's trying to drive itself through there, and it doesn't care if it goes sideways or whatever. You also really want to try to like if you're holding the propeller like this, there's a chance you're going to introduce this shit. A regular drill bit spinning forwards, a lot of times it's going to want to do this thing. You holding the propeller and then side loading the drill is going to be what makes it go like this and makes the whole propeller wobble. There's a million ways for it to go wrong.
Not worth it.
I don't think it's worth it, but I don't know. I mean, I've done it. I used to do it a lot back in the old days. when the propeller selection for micros was truly horrendous. I did it quite a bit, and the long and short of it was that it was not really all that fun to fly those rigs. And then, you know, like the other really nasty part is like you do that, and then like you find this magical propeller that if you drill it out, it's awesome. Well, guess what? Now you're on the hook to do a whole bunch because you just found your favorite propeller that you have to spend at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get a set of them. And so it's like, awesome.
At that point, just beg the prop manufacturer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Nowadays, there's enough different props, but there really isn't. There are definitely a couple of propellers that I really wish came in 1.5 mil.
You can like.
So I get it. Believe me.
661 says, damn near need to be machinist, use a drill press and some jig to hold the props perfect.
Yep, that's the only way to do it right is to have a drill press and a jig,
like
and
just like 3D print like a little jig
that's
that
an
holds
interesting
it,
idea.
and then like
you can also 3D print a drill press.
Yeah, like a little drill press for like one of those. What are those called? The little hand drill.
Oh
those
yeah,
little, those little tiny drill bits.
Yep. So yeah, again, even in that scenario, you're spending a whole bunch of time on propellers. Propellers, you know, you should be flying hard enough that you're wrecking propellers. That's you know, where things become super fun, and that's where you get better as a pilot, right? Like, you want to be pushing yourself a little beyond your limits. If you're plateauing as a pilot, that's typically one of the biggest problems, is that, like, it's funny, like, new pilots are like, I can't wait until I get good enough to not crash. It's like, wait, you'll see. And so that's when I get students, one of the things when they say, like, I feel like I've been plateauing, the first question is like, how often do you crash? And they'll be like, every couple of batteries. I'm like, there's your problem.
If you're only crashing, go easier. That's true. If you're not crashing at all, you need to push yourself. You want to be in the crashing sweet spot.
Yeah. You
also want to get good at crashing so you break less shit.
That's true. If you're if you're crashing because you're just throwing it at stuff and hoping that it'll work, you're not really learning much. You're learning a little bit. You're learning, like, the path that it travels, and that's really valuable. But, like, if you're flying at like 11 tenths, awesome. If you're flying at like 20 tenths, you're trying stuff that's so difficult that, like, you're not really learning quite that much. So, like, you want to push a little bit past the limit, but, like, when you're at the spot and there's like an impossibly small gap and you just keep throwing the quad at it, just understand that you're not really learning that much. If you're just doing it to get the footage and to show your friends, like, I get it. Believe me, I get it. But yeah, if you're trying to get good, you got to push a little bit beyond the limit. There you go. Last couple of questions. God, it's past midnight already. Teleport FPV says, the stream before Castle Crash, you flew a monster-powered rig in your house. What was that? Oh, boy, I don't know, man. There are timestamps, though, in the comments from Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper. He does a really good job putting into those timestamps what the rig is. I am not caught up. The timestamps are not in the descriptions yet. I'm going to get caught up this week. But in the... there are descriptions in those videos, so it's probably there waiting for you. My guess would be that it's the 802.8 27,000 kV motors on 75 millimeter frame. That's my guess, but it's almost certainly in the description, thanks to Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper. Last comment of the live stream is from 661FPV. Thank you for all the good info, brother. He says, I saw you were hanging with GemFan Mike. Did you hold him down and force him to make us more 1.5 millimeter, 31 millimeter props? You know, I didn't at all. But Mike and I, when we're together, it's just like the two of us trying to make each other laugh back to back to back to back to back to back. We don't really talk much business. We talk business on Instagram. And that is I sit here on the live streams and bitch and moan about it, but then I don't take the 4 seconds that it takes to message him and say, like, hey man, what are the chances of and I'm doing that right now. Thank you for that reminder, 661. What are the chances?
Hey, if you want that, put your name in chat. Just like say yes, want, or whatever.
1.5.
And then we can just send him a list of people that want it, so he knows that like it's a.
No, 1.2 inch. Not
so he
props.
feels more pressure.
Props. What are the chances of getting more? The 1208s are great and all, but the new 1219S's are insane, and the 1210s are the best prop ever. There are some high KV 1.5 millimeter motor shafts.
Everyone in my live
Out
stream wants
of
them.
Cinewhoop, which make them much more viable. There you go, my friends. Bunch of guys in my chat are
that's easy
asking.
Names.
Great hangs this weekend, man. Love ya. There you go, my friends. 661 says, please 1210 bi-blades with 1.5 mil holes. Yeah. I will say this. If you're asking because you've got a set of the 802 33,000 kV motors, the 1210s that I drilled out and put on those motors, I didn't like them as much as the 1208 tri-blades that we already have. Although I have not seen those 1208 1.5 mil props in a while. Okay, no, I just haven't been looking for them. So yeah, we already have a 1.2 inch 1.5 mil shaft. It's the 1208, and it's actually really good. It's what I have on that meatball cannonball rig. And yeah, I don't like these 1208 props on anything else, but it makes sense. 802 is a beefy motor. This is a little bit of a heavier prop, so it kind of makes sense. So yeah, 661. If that, oh no, 702. Oh right, there's the 702s with the 1.5. Yeah. Yeah, we need him.
Reference.
We need him. Roger Rabbit voice, nice. All right, friends, thanks for hanging out. Eva, what do you have to say?
I'm sleepy.
I'll see you guys on Wednesday. I'm going to do a proper Castle Crash after action report with tons of flight footage and all kinds of good stuff. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for the super generous super chats and support. And I love you guys. Be good. See you Wednesday.
Everyone who's here that I met at Castle Crash, it was so great hanging.
Goddamn right it was.
I'm exhausted.
Here's the Grinderino. It's a little late, so it's a little fuzzy. But yeah, here's the Grinderino at one of the other flight lines there. I love you. Bye!